Here's another look at our glorious finished ceiling that we explained in our first video, and we admire it every day now. We are so happy with how that turned out. And here's a really cool picture of it at night, looking really cozy.
Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm starting to assemble the pieces to go back in the boat. This is the companionway door, and it has two piano hinges, one on the jamb side, and then it has a piano hinge in between the two doors, and they collapse together to one side of the companionway. So I built these doors, and I reused the hardware from the original boat. You can see, here's what was in the boat. It's just plastic. So, you know, this new wooden door is really going to dress up the boat quite a bit. Then over here, I've got the folding table, which came out of the boat, and I refinished that, and I'll put that in. And then at the top of the companionway, there is a closure, which used to be made out of this nasty plastic that we've been getting rid of. So that was the closure piece on top of the companionway door, and we're gonna use wood. There is one section of it, and the other section is right here. So you can see it's got a lip, and so it replaces that black plastic. Then I have the bench here, which I pulled apart, and I refinished everything, and then I have to install the bench back on top of that. Okay, this is a bench that goes at the back of the boat, the aft end of the boat. And it's used for storage, and it's a bench surface, and it gets a cushion on top of it. Now what we're doing is we're making it a deeper cushion. Here's where the top will go back on the top of the bench. We're going to put in a deeper cushion, and we're going to have a cushion that goes all the way to the sides of the boat. This one just kind of sits out there and doesn't completely fill the space. And this box leaks for some strange reason. I don't know how water gets into it, but it leaks into the space within the fiberglass. So I installed, you can see there's an open cavity in there. Somehow water's getting in. So I installed the vents to drain out this interstitial space, as well as to promote airflow inside the box so that everything doesn't turn green with mildew. And of course, it's a great piece of storage. The boat actually is pretty good from a storage standpoint. You know, underneath the seating next to the helm, you know, there's a nice large lazarette in there. And then there's another lazarette underneath the sink, which is very useful. Now, one other thing I made, we're going to have a ladder back seat. You know, right now, the original seat was made out of plastic, and this is what we're going to put. And I'll show you again what we're trying to do here is dress the boat up. So there's what I started with, and here's what we're going to have in the boat. And the same is true of the cockpit table. And I did this on the sailboat as well. I took the plastic tabletop and used it as a pattern to create a wood tabletop. In this case, we saved ourselves a little bit of time, and we bought a teak mat, which is approximately the same size as the tabletop, which is on the floor right down there. The other thing I'll mention is wherever the wood was removable inside the boat, I would remove it to make it much easier to refinish it. You know, I did have to refinish a lot of wood that cannot be easily removed from the boat, but these pieces were. Hi, I want to tell you about some work that Jody and I did, but we didn't photograph it. It was pretty stressful. It involved replacing the handrail on the roof and reinstalling the eyebrows. And it's February here in Pennsylvania, so you've got to get a few beautiful days to actually be able to do this work comfortably. We used life caulk. It's a difficult product to use. And after I'd refinished the eyebrow wood, I pulled these off. I put the life caulk, a uniform bead on this eyebrow, and then Jody held it from the outside while I screwed from the inside. When we got the eyebrow good and tight on the boat, of course, the life caulk kind of squeezes out top and bottom. And then you've got to get it off. Now, fortunately, I used brown caulk, so it matches the wood. If I had used white, it would just have been a horrible mess. So this is the handrail. This was actually pretty easy to put on. Same process. You put the life caulk on the wood, and then I would put a dab in the hole through the ceiling. And then, okay, so Jody and I actually installed the handrail before the eyebrow pieces. We bought a new handrails. They make them exactly the same size as the original. And, you know, it would have been a real pain in the neck and time consuming to have sanded out all that raised grain. Now, we didn't buy new eyebrows, so I did have to heavily sand those, and I wasn't really able to get most of the old finish off. But anyway, they worked out fine, and the holes are in the right place. So when we put the handrail in, you put your caulk on the underside of the rail, you press it in, you use lots of tape to protect so this caulk doesn't wind up everywhere, and that helps be a guide for one person to hold this in place while the other person screws it tight from the bottom.
The pictures really don't do this justice or illustrate how huge this job was. We installed 4 sections of eyebrow pieces and 2 handrails. The eyebrows were super fragile, and I had to be very precise about lining up the holes, and that life caulk adhesive was really hard to work with and very messy. And of course, those 12 man hours don't count the hours that Brooke spent finishing and refinishing these teak pieces in the workshop before we even got around to installing them. So this was a really, really big job.
Okay, we replaced the black plastic doors that were in this frame. I simply took the frame out and bought a louvered door kit and built these doors custom to the opening. It was a really handy kit. Basically, they give you these side rails. The rails are already drilled out for the louver pieces to fit in. Okay, these are the new companionway doors that I built. I showed you the plastic ones in the barn. And so I basically copied those doors identically, and I reused the glass. This glass you can see through. All the other glass we took out, you can't see through. So this door folds out like this, and there it is closed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the lid, which is partially assembled there, and it has piano hinges, and the new lid drops down just like that. And the lid on the original to the boat is that black plastic that we got rid of. And any place where there was black plastic, I got rid of it and put in mahogany plywood.